here she goes again. So, I am Taylor Andre. Waking Up with Taylor Andre used to be live 5 days a week. It was so exhausting, so taxing. It was amazing. I poured back into my community. My community poured into me. It was a beautiful thing. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was therapy on air, like literally therapy. One of the things that I've been thinking about recently is, what if I had my therapy sessions live? But then there's like so much personal information in there that I really don't want to share. But there's so many people that don't engage in therapy that I'm like, this is what therapy looks like. So I'm like, maybe I can have a play it safe one where we talk about surface level, like work, generalized, and, you know, stuff like that. But then, you know, I just get to talking and the personal stuff might end up coming out. But I have been in therapy and I do love it. I do enjoy it. And I have learned a lot about myself and how to engage in the world. And so previously, I was not the best mom. I was not the best person. I still lack communication skills, which is crazy because I have communication skills, but I lack communication skills. And to thy own self be true. I know my issues, I know my problems, and one of the most freeing things ever is saying, you know what, I effed up. And this is how I effed up, and I acknowledge that, and I will do better. That, like, once you can acknowledge that you effed up and that you're the problem, what? Life is so much easier. And so I started off by saying, Wake Up with Taylor Andre, because back in the day, we used to talk about anything and everything all of the time, about what's going on in the world, and, you know, how these things in the world are affecting us day to day, or, you know, mentally, because there's things that are happening in the world that don't directly affect us, but the knowing of it, the hearing of it, the witnessing through social medias, other people's experiences, it's like a vicarious thing. So there was a study that was done that, you know, took two groups of people. One group of people went to the gym and they worked out and they wore a sweat bag, and the sweat bag collected their sweat. And the other group of people went skydiving and their sweat was collected. That sweat that was collected was then, to a third party, given to two other groups of people. One group of persons smelt the people who went skydiving, and one group of people smelt the people that went to the gym. The people that went to and this was like in like an MRI or something that monitors how your body reacts to things. And the group of people that went to the gym, they had no change in their like brain activity. But the people who smelt the sweat of those that jumped out of the plane had a fight or flight, had that response of whether they were about to, like, they got a scared response, an adrenaline rush response. And so even though we are not experiencing a thing, we're vicariously experiencing things, and all of these traumas, we're like, A, callousing ourselves to humanity, B, rarely taking on more than we should be, because it's not your experience. You shouldn't be physically experiencing it. What we know to be true is when people think about something, their body believes it to be true. So even if you are not cycling a bike, if you sit here and you think about pedaling a bicycle, your body is going to a molecule, on the molecule level, react as if you were riding a bike. So with that being said, you are putting yourself through traumas that you don't have to go through by watching some of the things that you engage with. And how many of us are actually in therapy decompressing not just the things of our real life, but things that we've seen in the lives of others that may or may not affect how we interact, engage in the world moving forward. And I just want to take a minute to if you are a real estate agent, I think I'm going to make this a video on its own. If you're a real estate agent and you have something listed in MLS and you know you're not a turnaround agent, please put in the disclosures that it's going to take 72 hours for me to get a response from you. If I've called you, if I've emailed you, and I've texted you, and within 24 hours I don't hear anything from you, I should be able to contact your client. Because at this point, you're doing a disservice to my client, you're doing a disservice to your client, and you're doing a disservice to the industry. Moving forward, I would love if it could be implemented that it's a response time. This agent has an XYZ response time. I would love to see what that looks like. I know Facebook can do it, and if Facebook can do it, why MLS can't? If Zillow can do it, if Realtor can do it, and MLS is supposed to do it better. I'm tired. I have 3 feelers out there for a showing for 2 separate clients, and I've waited over 24 hours. Put in the disclosures you don't work on Saturdays. Put in the disclosures you don't work on Sundays. Put in the disclosures somewhere that I'm going to wait 72 hours or 3 business days for you to get back to me. And those business days will be during business days, because I don't respond, because it was actually it was Friday after hours. And so I'm all for boundaries as well. So if you have boundaries, set those boundaries, but inform me about what those boundaries are so I can navigate my buyer or my people's needs. And those that are looking to put their house on the market, when you are interviewing agents, ask them what their response time is. If someone emails you about showing my house, showing my apartment, how long does it take for you to respond back? How long did it take for you to respond to a phone call, a text message, or email? How many times does somebody have to get in contact with you before you respond? And if that's the case, because you're so busy, get you a VA. Get you some help. Get you an assistant. If there's too much on your plate right now, maybe it needs to, increase your business and bring somebody else on. But having my client suffer, knowing that this house is going to go very quickly, and if you're overwhelmed and you're getting an abundance of calls, then copy, paste, send a group chat. Copy, paste, send a text message to all of us. I've had listings where I had over 50 offers for one listing. And you know what? There's no agent that can't say Taylor did not get back to me in some shape or form. If I did not call all 100 calls that I got, I'm sending a text. Hey, just wanted to let you know we are really overwhelmed. This is a really hot property. We're having an increase, just like they tell you on a phone call. You about to wait for a long time. And the reason why you're about to wait for a long time is because we've had an influx of activity. My influx of activity, these are the, commonly, frequently asked questions. If you have any questions outside of these, feel free to let me know, and I'll help you the best way that I can. Tell me I'm going to be waiting. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. And the reason why I'm annoyed is because these are the agents that do the bare minimum, but get an abundance of listings and don't even show up for the client. You're doing a disservice to yourself, your client, my client, and the industry as a whole. You're making us look bad, B. Okay, I'm over that. I'm really not, but I'm over the conversation of it. Can we talk about last night? Actually, I did want to touch on the topic that we went to a graduation party that had an abundance of kids there, and there were kids of all ages. It was a very diverse crowd. And at this party, they played a diverse amount of music because it was a very diverse crowd. One of the things that if I can, toot my own horn, one of the things that I love as a parent is during the time where all of the songs that you can hear from a TikTok, that have a TikTok dance, that have a TikTok this, that have that part, there was an individual that did not know the songs. There was an individual that didn't know the dances. And you know how there's like some facial expressions and hair movements that we do as adults that our people pick up on. And I saw children as young repeating these things that they saw parents doing or siblings doing or whomever, community, other kids in their school. And Anari and I had a conversation earlier today about like sheltering, and how with Anari and Asaria I was very sheltering. I was, I'm still, these is grown peoples that I am still a helicopter mom. And I'll probably be 100 years old and still conduct myself in such a way. With that being said, I am glad that I'm a helicopter mom. I am glad that individuals were unaware of these songs and dances, and some inappropriate, some just regular decent, but there is so much online and so much that we have access to that is very unhealthy. And in that moment, I was extremely proud because it wasn't something that could be engaged with. And it reminded me of when I was young and, my mom was like, you can't listen to that music. Or my grandmother was like, you can't watch that TV show. It reminded me of how much I was so angry and so upset and so mad that I didn't have that freedom to be able to engage in these things that the masses, community, my peers were engaging in. But now, being a little older, I see it differently. Everything you ingest through means of eating it, you're eating it with your eyes, you're ingesting it with your ears, you're ingesting it with your energy when it's your surroundings. Like, all of that truly does matter. And what are you putting, like, you are what you eat. You are what you think. You are what you see. You are what you interact with. And if you are all these things, who are you? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you eating? If you know that the food that you're ingesting is not truly food and does not have any nutrients, like yesterday I made the decision that I'm no longer purchasing fruit nor vegetables that aren't 100% organic. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes I'll get regular strawberries. And I recently we grew strawberries this year. And when I tell you, the homegrown strawberries were so delectable, so tiny, so sweet, so red. From the top of the strawberry all the way to the bottom, it was red. There was no white. Nothing in this, nothing of the strawberry was white except for the flower that turned into a berry. It was not, I can't even explain it. And then I recently purchased strawberries that weren't organic, and these strawberries were red on the outside, but the rest of the strawberry was completely white. And I was like, yeah, we're done. We're 100% done. I'm not buying strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, because on the molecule level, the molecular, that's a really hard word for me. On the molecule level, there's no nutrients, or there's a lack of nutrients. And so what's the point of wasting my money and my calorie count if I'm eating something that's not going to give me the nutrients that my body actually needs? And with that being said, Prince will continue to have nutrient-rich entertainment, nutrient-rich music, nutrient-rich fun,
nutrients-rich Mega fun.
Mega fun. And so I thank you, I love you, I appreciate you for coming to my TED Talk. I do miss being on air, but I love being on the executive side and helping small businesses be able to advertise their business on a platform that was literally made for them. And so if you are in the city of Boston and you have a business that it's not even city of Boston, because we have listeners in the Caribbean, we have listeners in New York, so just depends what your business is. You might want to, I have pens in my purse. But here, you can take these 3 and pass them out if you want. Click them. Yeah, so the pens are inside. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Oh, and if you want advertising, just hit me up and I'll make sure you're good. Okay. If you are looking to buy or sell or invest, who do they call? What's the number?
617-459-0041.
What's my name?
Taylor Andre.
And that's why he's on payroll.